Welcome to this week's Down Home with Tina show. Thank you so much for joining me. I have going to highlight my teacher of the month as well as a couple of students coming up here in the next half hour. I want to go ahead and welcome Dusty Hines. He is a teacher at Amanda-Clearcreek Local Schools. He is a math teacher, but he has recently, in the recent last year, become another type of teacher. And we're going to find out all about that and why and how that's all happened. But first off, I want to welcome you to the show. Thank you so much for coming in and joining me.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Dusty, how long have you been a teacher, and why did you decide to become a teacher?
How long? 15 or 16 years. The years start adding up pretty quick, right? As far as why, I was in software development for a long time, and just didn't feel like that's where my calling was. I was like, this isn't where God wants me to be.
Yeah.
So my wife and my two daughters, we went on vacation, came back on a Sunday, and it's like it just hit me. It's like, can't do this for 30 more years. Don't think it's where I'm supposed to be. So prayed about it, and then decided that this is where I wanted to be. And it's so rewarding. Not that it doesn't have its rough days, but the rough days are good days.
Right,
So,
which is awesome. Yeah, and you had said that about how, the time flies when you're doing something that you absolutely love.
Yes.
What was it that hit you and you went, you know what, I don't want to do this for the next 30 years. Had it been something that was leading up to that when you got right out of high school? Is it a job that you just went to school for and did, and you were kind of just, going through the motions, I guess?
Yeah, to some degree.
And you weren't finding joy maybe or something, and you were like, you know what, I feel there's something more that I need or should be doing. Because I know I can relate to that for what I did for a really long time myself,
And that's exactly it. It's, I enjoyed the software development. I did it for, 18, 19 years. So I enjoyed it. But other than bringing home the paycheck, I just didn't, it wasn't satisfying. It was, the higher you get up in the private sector, the more time away from home you are. And it's just, I got to thinking, well, I'm 55. Is this what I want to be doing? And it was like, no. And so anyway, then the doors opened up. I was able to go back to school and go part-time at my job. Nice. And it just, God just worked everything out. It's so neat.
The way that everything just falls into place. So using your teaching in a different kind of form for our viewers today, for those who are out there and they kind of feel like they're in that same place, what do you recommend for them? Because I'm that person that's part of Down Home with Tina. Believe in yourself and do it and find your purpose. And sometimes it is a different route that you take, or it's a little longer or slower to get there. But what do you recommend and how to, if they've been entertaining that thought? Because it's a scary thing, I really think.
It is.
To take that leap.
And I was in a fortunate position where financially I was able to do it. And I don't think everyone is.
Yeah.
You get locked into payments and stuff. And like I always told my two daughters, first and foremost, be able to pay your bills.
Yeah.
But then beyond that, if you can do that and do something you love to do, it's just, if you're not getting up each morning and looking forward to the day, you need to think about, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? I really believe that.
Yeah.
And but I think it is, like I say, the situation I was in allowed me to do it.
Awesome.
So my wife and daughters, well, my one daughter was convinced I don't like money, but other than that, they
it's different pay grade, I'm sure.
A little different pay grade, but they were both supportive. All three of them were supportive, so it worked out really well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So why did you decide to be a math teacher? Did it just kind of go with the numbers from what you did before?
It truly is.
It is,
I enjoy math, and when I went back to get my degree, the computer science degree required a lot of math when I went through my bachelor's. So then to get to my master's in teaching, it went along with it, and it's what I enjoyed it too. So
how long did it take for you to get that degree, for you to become a teacher?
Took about 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm. Full-time? Oh, no, you said
No,
part-time.
it was part-time. It was through Otterbein. They had a master's degree for adults that was more in the evenings and stuff, so it worked out better and that's where I had my undergraduate. That's why I went back there. But
And I love it because it sounds like you're doing the dream thing that you want to do, which is being a math teacher, Amanda-Clearcreek Local Schools in middle school, so 7th grade. And then also there's another class that you just started. So talk to me a little bit about math. How's math been for you with students in middle school and in 7th grade? Is it an easier kind of math? Can it be one that, because some kids they get math or they don't get math. what is it they say, English and the arts and that, or it's math and science. You're good at one or the others of those two groups.
I enjoy it. The kids, you're right, there's so many different levels, right? But you try to differentiate your lessons as best you can to meet all of them. And it's as long as you understand where the kids are coming from, so that your expectations, you have high expectations for all of them, but it's not that they're all going to be here. It's they're all going to grow this much.
Yeah.
And as long as you can keep that in mind, and that they're not all going to be here, though, but if you get the growth, they're feeling good about life, about themselves, and it works out.
What do you encourage parents who have, or grandparents who have younger ones that are struggling with math? Because I know now my son ended up doing phenomenal in high school with math, but that's not because of me, just because of his dad. Because I liked math, but there was just geometry threw me out for a loop. I may have been on a different planet when I looked at the things that went with geometry. But what do you recommend for those kids who may be struggling at an earlier age that can help them? Because I know with like reading and things, they say you want your child to, reading is a good thing to start. What do you recommend for kids that are younger and that?
Math facts, and I know that I don't think everyone feels the same way, not even all math teachers do, but I think math facts are still incredibly important. And also, like, what we're doing now in 7th grade is beyond what I did in 7th grade.
Yeah.
And if you're not working with the math every day, it's tough for some parents. So encourage the kids to reach out to their teachers and get help. Like, we offer help after school and different things. There's always opportunities to get extra help.
Okay.
Few kids take advantage of it.
Yeah.
So
if they're food motivated, let them play with their food. I don't know. If they're, I'm thinking like Cheerios and things like that, or Fruit Loops or things like that. If they're toy motivated, Legos. That's what I'm just saying. Because you can really be creative with things like that. Now I know that either of those may not be something, because a lot of kids are in the video games. It's a different world from even when my kids were younger. So you just got to be creative sometimes. So I loved your advice. So let's talk about your community services class.
Yes.
When did this start and begin?
This is the first year for it. With COVID, it created a different schedule 2 years ago, and even last year. So then this year, we had an opportunity to kind of rethink our schedule in the middle school, and we added an elective at the end of the day, a 1-hour elective.
Okay.
And kids we got to pick what we wanted to teach within our licensure. And then the students got to sign up for different electives. So community service was one of the things I was interested in. I thought it'd be a neat way to give the kids some exposure to what else they can do to help others. And so anyway, that's what I did. And then I had 30 kids in each semester.
Okay, and you're in your second semester now, right? So you're in the middle of your first year. What is the feedback you've been getting here within the next, we've got like a minute and a half yet.
The kids seem to like it. They come in, it's kind of student driven as far as the projects we want to take on, but we're limited because it has to happen on campus. The kids, we're not in high school, they're not driving.
Yeah.
But the kids seem to enjoy it. We do probably more card writing than they would like at times, but that's an easy one when you have a day you're not sure what to get into. Writing, like we wrote letters to a nursing home and to a couple members of our community that were going through different things. So it's rewarding, and the kids, I don't want to say they don't enjoy it, but the bigger projects are what they really get excited for.
Yeah, and I'm so excited to hear more, and we're going to, because we've got a couple of students with us today. One that was in your last semester and one in the middle of the semester on this round. But you are my Teacher of the Month, and I want to thank you so much for what you do and your gift and everything. You'll get that, and we'll be back. Folks, don't go anywhere. Thank you for everything you do, and keep doing it, because community service is so huge, and putting that in the hearts of our kids, that is exactly what I believe that we should be doing. We're going to be right back, folks. You're watching Down Home with Tina.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. respect for tradition, regard for change.
Life is unpredictable. That's why estate planning is important. Estate planning provides you comfort and peace of mind knowing that you're taking care of your loved ones and ensuring your legacy lives on just as you envisioned. You lived a life that is beautifully and uniquely yours. You deserve an estate planning attorney who understands that and creates a plan as unique as you and in the best interest of your loved ones. You deserve the local, trusted, experienced attorneys at Dagger Law.
Welcome back to Down Home with Tina. I have from Amanda-Clearcreek Local School District in middle school, actually in 7th grade, a young lady by the name of Julia, who is part of Mr. Hines' community services class. And you are currently in the semester and working on some of the projects, correct?
Yes, I am.
Tell me, Julia, why did you decide to want to participate in his class?
Well, I really didn't know which one to choose. It was so many options and I was just kind of overwhelmed, but I ultimately decided on his because I was like, well, I'd rather do stuff that's helping other people than helping myself. It just seemed like the best choice.
So how many kids are in your class?
I think it's 30.
30 kids,
Yeah.
so it's packed full.
Yes, it is packed full.
When you started the semester, what did you already come into the class having an idea of what it was going to be about and what you were expected to have and come with?
Yes, I did because a few of my friends were in the first semester class. So I was like, yeah, I know what's happening and I think I can get the hang of it pretty fast.
Yeah, so you kind of probably came in with some
Yeah.
ideas. So what were some of the ideas of the other kids that you are doing as well? Well,
Yeah,
maybe not you, but they are.
We decided that we wanted to help out our school with putting up some better basketball hoops because our basketball hoops are so old. They're probably from the time that the school was built that we decided we needed new ones. They're run down. The elementary kids can't use them anymore. They're just not good anymore. We also decided that we were going to help out the elementary kids by putting together food bags for kids that are either not fortunate enough to have enough food or that just don't go shopping enough to have it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't have.
Yeah.
What's the project that you are actually working on?
Right now I'm helping with getting together socks and toiletries and other things and canned food for the homeless. It's just me and a couple of my friends working on that while other kids are working on other things.
So how does it take place? How does it work? Like, for instance, you said that you're doing a canned food drive
Yes.
and a sock drive.
Yeah.
Okay. How does that work? How do you guys work with making that happen in his class?
Yeah, so first we have one kid contact the organization that we're trying to figure out if we can do this, what we can do, what needs to happen first. Then if they say, yeah, you guys can do this is what you can bring in, we then talk to Mrs. Cochran, our middle school principal, and then we kind of just put it all together and then we just kind of announce it on the loudspeakers over school in the morning.
Okay, so it's just the school, or do you ask the public and them to go home and ask their families to ask families to
So
bring
we
it in?
kind of we run it through the school, but they ultimately ask their parents, like, hey, can I have 2 cans of something to bring into the school for something.
And do you have a deadline for it and then when it'll be distributed to? Does it go for the whole semester?
Yeah, so right now we're trying to get that started, but we have to have it ended a week or 2 before school ends because then our class wouldn't be able to give them to the homeless. So it has to end a little bit before the semester ends.
And how's it going so far?
It's going pretty well. We're just kind of working out the kinks right now and it just takes a little while.
Yeah, what do you find? Do you find out that if you have too much, is there ever too much for it, I guess, to where you'll figure out what you'll do with it and box
No,
it
I
up
don't
and
feel
deliver
like
it?
there can be too much because if there is, we would just go to another homeless shelter home here in Fairfield County.
Doing this in class, what do you think it will do for you for what you want to maybe accomplish in the future?
I feel like this class kind of just makes me think of the world isn't perfect. I can't make the world perfect by myself. if I do a little small act in the future or right now or whenever, it can help me just get there. Like, promote other schools to start having community service class to
Yep.
make the world a better place.
Yep. And show folks what a 7th grader and what they can come up with and their ideas can actually do to make the world a better place. Like you just said. Julia, you are one of my students of the month, and I got so excited about having you that it's here. It's just not here on my set with me, my bag of goodies to give you. So you have goodies that I'm going to give to you as well, with yummy cookies and treats in there and a bunch of sugar that, you know, for go home and just get yourself all sugared up and everything.
Yeah, totally.
So anything else that you would like to share with folks?
Honestly, no. I feel like we covered a lot.
All right. It's Down Home with Tina, and I'll be back in just a minute with our next student of the month.
Fairfield Federal. When it comes to our customers and our community, we go above and beyond to help. Our people make the difference.
We were retiring from Tucson, Arizona, and we made a retirement trip out around Ohio, having decided that's where we wanted to be. And we came across this town called Lancaster, and we fell in love with the downtown area where the fountain is and the memorials and the flags and all the stuff. And we looked around and I said, there's our bank right there.
There's something to be said about a community bank in your hometown.
Right. If you live in the community, you should do business in the community as much as possible. So it makes sense to bank with the community bank where you live.
Fairfield Federal is the bank to be at. If you live in this town, or any town actually, you want to bank at a local home bank. And the employees are happy here, they're conversant, customer service is through the roof. There's nothing more you could ask for.
Personal or business banking, whatever you need, we take it seriously because we know you do. Stop by today at any of our 3 locations and see why the difference is clear. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan specializes in banking that revolves around you.
Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
I've got with me my other student of the month. Her name is Olivia, and she was a part of Mr. Hines's very first community services class. Yes. Welcome to the show. Please share with everybody why you decided that you wanted to, being a brand new class that they were offering, participate in that class.
I wanted to be in the community service class because I wanted to make a difference in people's lives. I wanted to try to impact other people's lives because I've seen like how people, like with the homeless and stuff, I've seen some stuff and I just didn't like how that was going, so I wanted to try to make a difference.
With you having that and knowing about that, were there students in your class that didn't know that was what was going on? Because I know some of them kind of may not realize it.
Yeah.
And what do you think that it did for opening their eyes to realize what's really happening out there?
I think it really opened their eyes to see, that's actually happening. We could make a difference.
Yeah.
Because
Amanda's small,
yes.
But that doesn't mean that you don't have homeless that live there. And I know the city of Lancaster, we have quite a few.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you like to share with your friends also some of the things that you've been doing?
Yeah.
Is Julia one of your friends that you encouraged her to?
Yeah.
No, I just love that. So what were some of the other ideas of some of the students when they came into the class of what they came up with?
Some of the things we did was write cards, but our biggest one was writing to the FMC. And so we wrote over 250 cards to the FMC and invited them to one of our football games, and we recognized them there and gave them some food and personally thanked them for what they have done for us.
Who were some of these from the Fairfield Medical Center that came out to this?
We don't
were their
really
occupations? Were they the doctors and nurses?
Yeah, they were the doctors and nurses. We had a whole bunch. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is pretty cool. How did you even plan something like that? And because you had to have a lot of people if you were feeding them as well.
Yeah, so we each took I think 10 people and divided up, wrote a whole bunch of cards, and then we all took shifts at our football game of who was going to make the food, who was going to give it to and so we all kind of switched out on that.
Oh, that's neat. Do you get your parents involved with it as well?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Like with our car wash, we brought in some of the stuff.
Okay, so you guys have so what do you do to raise funds? Because is there a budget, or do you have to actually raise money for every project that you do?
We started with no money at all, and so we had to raise the money by ourselves. So we did a car wash, and so everybody brought in some of like their stuff. Like we brought in hoses and water and soap and stuff. And so like I invited some of my family members and other people did, and like they would give us money like for donations, and we made up to $300.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How do you get the word out about when you are doing an event or a fundraiser like that?
We say it at school, and then sometimes we'll see people that we know and say like, hey, do you mind telling these other people like this is what we're doing? And we also held signs out like when we were doing this to have people come and they would see them with the signs.
Yeah. What are some of the other students, and have you met new friends in this class as doing this?
Yeah, I have. I came closer to more people. Like they're still my friends, but I became more closer to them.
Yeah, because you get to know more people and you get to get ideas. Are there any other really cool ideas that you've heard that you guys haven't got to do yet? Because I'm sure there's so many.
There's so many ideas that we didn't get to do, but we gave them to Julia's class to do instead.
To move them on for the next semester. Yeah. So do you know if do they have anything further in the next year that you can do, or is this the one time that you know of?
We don't know yet.
Community services class that you get to do this one time. What do you believe this is doing for you for what you may continue after you get out of 7th grade?
After I get out of 7th grade, I feel like this will like open my eyes to see like in the future like, oh, this is how I can make an impact, and I can also help like because I have like younger friends, and I can also help them like, hey, this is some other thing, so it helps impact other people as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. I know you've got some notes, so I was just, do you have anything that you wanted to share with it?
No.
Alrighty. So I've got to ask you, have you been to the roller rink?
I have.
You have? Do you go often?
Sometimes. We went for school a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah. The reason I'm asking you that is because I know you heard me before. I actually went out there, and the first time I went was a long time ago when my son was in 3rd grade. When you're an older parent, I'm going to say like older, but I was older parent when he was in 3rd grade because now he's about to be 21. There are a lot of kids out there. That's not a whole lot of a difference from what it is over there in town because you guys have the closest roller rink.
Yes.
And that was a long time ago when I went skating then. I went skating again, but I like it. It's fun. Do you? Yeah. We had a good time. I actually was very, very careful, and I didn't end up falling because it was a birthday party. And so how old are you?
I'm 13.
So you and Julia, do you guys ever talk about things like this in your class? And doing for the community services class about it, and what I guess what my question is, what do you and your peer group overall talk about and think about when it comes to Mr. Hines' class?
Well, most of the things that we talk about is like what are some new activities like that we could start planning, even if it's just a tiny group of people, like with like how Julia said that her friends were doing one thing, that what can we do with projects? So like most people would just go in and vote on them, even if it's like the tiniest little things like writing cards. Like we wrote cards to somebody's grandparent because he recently just had a loss. So everybody wrote to him, and it really cheered him up, they said.
Absolutely. Yeah. So now that and I was just thinking it because you did the first semester.
Yes.
How do you get involved to help out this next semester and with the programs that they're doing and projects that they're working on to help it to be successful? Are you, and next year when you see the 7th grades doing that, do you foresee yourself wanting to be able to help them and to cheer them on and be a motivator to help them to be successful in their project because of this, so it can continue on?
Yes. So, since my friends are in here, I'll kind of like stay after school with them, and then we'll go and I'll ask them if they need help, and we'll all go and help with whatever projects they need. And like when I go out of 7th grade and like I see the 7th graders, I feel like it's something that people need encouraged with, and so I can keep going.
I love it. So, and I loved what Julia had mentioned as well. Do you feel the same way with just spreading the news with not just what you're doing, that hopefully other schools and other students can
Yes.
start doing the same
Yeah.
thing, that it will just continue on, and then we can have all kinds of positive stuff happening in our community. 'Cause
Yes.
That's what we really want to do, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Well, you are one of my students of the month as well. And just like Julia, Olivia, I've got your goodies in a bag. Kind of like what you just saw I gave to Mr. Hines. Yeah, same stuff.
Okay.
But anyways, thank you so much. Don't go anywhere though. And folks, you don't go anywhere either. I will be right back. It's Down Here with Tina.
Hi again, everybody. Welcome to the high school football game of the week. I'm Jared Stewart alongside Tim Shoemaker. Tonight, we've got a great one for you. The Blue Carroll Bulldogs.
We had a great week of practice. Even in the rain and the weather, we had a great week of practice.
Schneider, lots of running room to midfield. He's gone. Ryan Schneider down the near sideline for a touchdown for the Aces.
We have a hold on the offense, number 20. That penalty will be declined. They'll bring up fourth down.
We're going to give you this game ball here because you're a Tiberios fan of the game. And thanks for being here, Jacob.
Thank you. The Polar Bears are your OAC tournament champions. First time since 2009. What an exciting finish for the Ohio Northern Polar Bears.
And be very proud of this trophy because you've earned it.
Down Here with Tina is brought to you by these amazing sponsors, and I want to thank you for watching and the show each and every week and following me, hopefully on social media and sharing the show with your friends and family. I like to give a Tina tip every now and again, and this one, when I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, what kind of tip or message do I want to share with my viewers this week? This one just, it cracks me up, and I just have to tell you. So I took my daughter and a few of her friends, and my mom and my stepdad went along with us to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So we got this cabin out in the middle, of course, the mountains. And no matter where you go, I feel there's always like it's a 20-minute drive. And it may be a few miles, but it's like 20 minutes. So I got to get to my story because I don't have a whole lot of time. So we arrived to the cabin, and it's dark. Now, there are bear all over the place. And I did not see any bear, thankfully, but everybody goes into the cabin, and I'm kind of behind trying to get this stuff in because my daughter knew the code. She and her friends, of course, first thing they go and get settled in their room, and my mom and my stepdad went in. So I grab a bunch of things as much as I can because that's just who I am, and I've got it, and I shut that hatch, and I go in, and I come to the door, and I bam to the door. So I was like, what in the world? How do you run into the glass door? I don't know, but I did it. So I walk in and I'm laughing. My stepdad is in the dining room and he's just unloading things, and he looks up to me, and he's a tall guy. He's so funny, and he goes, "You did it too?" I said, "Yeah, I won't tell anybody if you don't tell anybody." He says, "Okay." In the meantime, I'm standing there and I'm thinking, how did I just run into that glass door? What in the world? I knew there was a door there, and I'm thinking of how clean it was. And my mom comes walking out from the bedrooms, and she's standing there, and I go, "Mom, I just ran into the glass door," and so did Davey. He looks up and he goes, "I thought you said you weren't going to tell anybody." And I was like, you know, we got to put a piece of paper up there. So if you've got a nice glass door, some people have to put watch your step. You got to say, watch the glass, because you just never know. It was the funniest thing, guys. I laughed until I cried. Thank you so much for watching the show. I do hope you get to take a trip sometime soon, even if it's a staycation. Enjoy it. God bless. Until we meet again, I'll be back next week. It's Down Here with Tina.